Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to talk about the last week of January. And so I'm going to cover from January 22nd to the 31st. And with this, we have got a lot to talk about. So what I'm doing in these daily aspects is I'm going over every day where the moon is, what nakshatra it's in, and how all the other planets are placed relative to the moon. This will give us an idea of what the social climate is, how people are feeling out there in the world. It really does funnel through the moon. And of course, when we're looking at the cycle of the moon, we're looking at the waxing or waning moon. This is very important too, relative to what is the context of what people are feeling out there. So I'm going to be talking about the moon, its sign, its nakshatra, and where all the other planets are to give you a sense for where you're going each day. Now, another thing is I'm doing this according to Central Standard Time. So I'd be very interested to know where you are located so you can put your location, where you're listening from, what country, what state, wherever you are, let me know. Because I'm going to be talking about Central Standard Time. So it may be another day or a few hours different around the time of what I'm talking about. So another thing that I want you to know is if this really rings true for you and you want to know more, but you want to know more on a personal level, you're going to want my Galactic Planner, because the Galactic Planner does this, but it makes it relative to your personal birth chart. So it's way more personal. And it will give predictions, exactly what you need to know every single day. And I want you to know that every single day, it's going to be important that you know this, because you can be guided by the stars. You will know what days are good for relationships, what days are good for business, what days do you need to lay low, personally according to your own chart. So when you get the planner, it will give you these dates and predictions in your phone. Put it into your personal calendar, either on your computer or your phone. So check it out. Go to galacticplanner.com. Another thing is, if you're interested in learning Vedic astrology, becoming my student, I'm starting semester 1 over again the first week of February. Check it out. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com and become my student. Last but not least, you want to sign up for my free newsletter. Go to galacticcenter.org and you're going to want to sign up or even become part of my Patreon, which is a spiritual community. Check it out. You don't want to miss all of this on galacticcenter.org. All right, so let's get going. Last week, serious stuff going on here. January is a pivotal month in so many ways. I mean, it is unbelievable what's going on this month. So looking at this, I'm looking at January 22nd, and it's a Wednesday, Central Standard Time. The moon sits in the middle of Libra. And Libra is the sign where people want to come together and make peace. Let's make it work. Relationships, all of the above. That's what Libra's about. But it is in the nakshatra Swati. And Swati is a nakshatra that deals with the businessman. It deals with the ways that people communicate in a business sense. They're kind of a little bit manipulative, if I could say, in the business sense, to try to get people to sway over into your side. The symbol for Swati is actually a blade of grass blowing in the wind. And what that symbolizes is that in communications, they can go whatever way they want to get people to agree with them. It's kind of sounds like a politician to me, but that's what makes them good in business. Now, towards the end of the evening, the moon will oppose Uranus, and that will cause things to get a little bit more unpredictable and unsteady and crazy things going on. I'm also looking at the fact that the sun goes to the 4th house. So this is a time that people are, wanting to spend more time at home. And this is actually, well, it's the day after Pluto is exactly on the sun. So really, January 21st, 22nd, it's a Pluto-Sun conjunction. This is intense. There's huge changes in leadership around the world. Sun is leaders and kings. Pluto is change and transformation. This must have something to do with the fact that this is the week that Donald Trump came into power, or into being inaugurated. So looking at this, we have the Saturn-Venus in the 6th house, which means, actually, no, excuse me, it's in the 5th house, which means this deals with coming together, opening your heart, being creative. But do be aware that Saturn and Venus together will make people standoffish. It will make them more detached, cold. It's not really the month for passionate love affairs, let me put it that way. It's a month where people are a little standoffish, careful, and detached in relationships. So even in your personal relationships, if you're married, you'll find that, you guys aren't so passionately involved, and you're probably involved in your own things. It's not like it's a terrible thing and there's a breakup, but it's just like you're involved in different ideas, doing different things. There's a detachment. Now, with Rahu Neptune being in the 6th house from the moon, this could definitely represent that there is more illness going on. So maybe there's more flu bugs. Be careful. Rev up with your immune system. Take your vitamins. Get some rest. You don't want to get sick during this time. Jupiter also goes to the 8th house from the moon, and that is a house that deals with deep introspection. So during this time, you're going to feel more introverted, more into self-analysis. And looking at where Mars is in the 9th house from the moon, this is where we're dealing with some type of work that deals with spiritual work, discovering who we really are, digging deep. If your father's still around, you might want to kind of steer clear of him, because he could be a little bit more argumentative. There could be some differences. But it's very interesting that Mars is at the last degree of Gemini, and that represents with Uranus, the last degrees of Aries. Something's coming to an end before a new beginning. That's what I'm seeing with this on this day. Now, let's move on to January 23rd. This is a Thursday, and the moon will be in Scorpio. And with it being in Scorpio, this is actually its debilitation sign. So people are a little bit more emotional when the moon is in Scorpio. They're a little bit more devotional, devotional. Their emotions are passionate, but not always in a good way, because it is debilitated. So they've got to really double check what they're feeling, because this is the time when the whole time that the moon is in Scorpio too, especially the latter part of Scorpio, but it deals with jealousy and extreme emotions. The good news is, though, it is being opposed by Jupiter, which lessens the degree of the severity of this emotional issue with the moon. Now, looking at where the moon is, it's in the nakshatra called Vishaka. And Vishaka is such a strong nakshatra. Its symbol actually is a triumphant archway, which means victory. And I'll tell you, people with this moon, they're going to get what they want. At any cost, they are so determined. and they don't care what it takes, they're going to get what they want. That's the Scorpio moon in Vishaka. And another thing is that we're looking at Venus and Saturn sits in the 4th house from the moon. So it is a great time to organize things in your house, to get work done, to decorate, buy new things that beautify the home. And most of all, if there's something that's not working, get it fixed. It will turn out fine. It will be great with Saturn in Aquarius with Venus in your 4th house. Rahu and Neptune are in the 5th from the moon. This deals specifically with opening your heart to love, but realize with Neptune, with Rahu, you may not be very discerning in the area of relationships. You might be over-exaggerating the qualities, the good qualities of someone. So just try to be more realistic. Now, as I said, Jupiter is in the 7th, so it is a time that you can go out, date, meet new people. But Mars in the 8th house, it's like a time of deep, transformative introspection. Look at yourself from a psychological viewpoint. How can you change yourself to improve and make yourself better? But unfortunately, with Mars, the ruler of Scorpio, in the 8th from the moon, this could mean there can be some instances of things that come out that could be embarrassing or disgraceful. Double check that you're careful what you do, so that you avoid any kind of embarrassment, because this does deal with humiliation. Mars in the 8th house from the moon. Now I'm looking at January 24th. This is a Friday. The moon is still in Scorpio. It's right there in the middle of Scorpio. And this comes together with the fixed star Antares, which is the star of war, of violence, of difficulty. It is a very intense star of war. Now, whether or not there's war breaking out around the world, I think it's been going on. Now, Jupiter is going to oppose the moon today, which makes it a delightful day for dating. Even though Mars is intense on that star, it's still, Jupiter uplifts it, so it's going to be fine. Mars is still in the 8th house. Be aware of anything that deals with disgrace, humiliation, things of the past, to lay low in that area. Don't be bringing up things of the past. It'll get you in trouble. And the Saturn, Venus in the 4th house. They're still in the 4th house from the moon. This is a great day to get things fixed around the house. Beautify the house. Buy furniture. Buy decorative things. Be artistic around the house. This is good. And of course, the Rahu Neptune still in the 5th house from the moon. Be careful who you're attracted to, because you may be looking at them with rose-colored glasses, as they say with Neptune. You got to be realistic about what you're being attracted to or drawn to. Yes. And even the Mercury's just come into Capricorn, close to the sun and Pluto, but they're in the 3rd house from the moon. So it is a time of deep expression and communication, and maybe even picking up that pen to start writing over the course of the next month. Another thing, K2 in the 11th from the moon. Friends, old friends from the past may suddenly appear in your life. It'll surprise you, but it happens. This is how astrology works. So now I'm looking at January 25th, and it's a Saturday. The moon throughout the day is still in Scorpio, but it's in the late degrees of Scorpio. By the evening, late evening, it will be in Sagittarius. Remember, this is Central Standard Time. So the moon being in Scorpio, in the last part of Scorpio, is in Jesta. Jesta is a nakshatra that deals with deep, dark stuff. And it deals with jealousy, per se. So I find that when this happens, you may not be the jealous one, but be aware that people are jealous of you, okay? People are jealous of you, so be aware of that. Another thing is it's in the tail of the Scorpion. And by the evening hour, Central Standard Time, it will be in the last degrees of Scorpio, and that will be Gandanta. So people are a little bit out of their minds. They're not being rational with their thinking and what they feel. So just, put it off for another day if people are acting a little crazy. And that means out of control. All right, so Mercury and the Sun are in the 3rd house. This could deal with some travel plans, and that's a good thing. It's not bad. Mercury in the 3rd. And like I said, like the day before, writing. It's a time that people could be more expressive and express themselves through the written word. Still a good day for looking for real estate, decorating, moving things around, making your house more beautiful, and getting things fixed in the house. Now, the Rahu Neptune are in the 5th house. Be careful of who you open your heart to. You got to be a little cautious at this time. Jupiter does still oppose the moon, so relationships are fine, but just be aware that there's a bit of jealousy in the air. Mars in the 8th. Don't bring up old issues from the past. You'll regret it. It will bring embarrassment, and it could bring some humiliation. Now I'm looking at Sunday, January 26th, and the moon has shifted over into Sagittarius today, and it is in the nakshatra called Moola. And I love to say this, and I don't mean money. Moola is the nakshatra that can deal with destruction, but it's also a nakshatra that I know deals with healing too. Its symbol is the roots, a gathering and tied together the roots of a plant. So it deals with getting to the bottom of things, getting to the root of the matter. And it also deals with herbology and healing. So you might find that if this is something you've been interested in, you'll delve even deeper into this. Now, Mercury and the Sun and Pluto go to the 2nd house from the moon. The 2nd house can deal with our speech. You will be very intense with how you express yourself. But, you could want to purchase a lot of things. This is buying power, with Pluto being powerful. But be a little careful, because the Sun can be a malefic. It's too much energy wherever it is. It burns a hole in the 2nd house. So don't be overextending yourself financially. Now, Venus with Saturn in the 3rd house. This is a good day for self-expression, especially in the written word, like your emails. You could express how you really feel to someone, and it goes over well. Rahu Neptune in the 4th house, and they're coming together. By the last day of the month, they will be exactly conjunct. But coming together in the 4th house, you could find some problems in the home, maybe some broken pipes, or maybe some, and that could deal with gas. If you smell gas, get it checked out. That's what that could mean. Or floods. Can be some broken pipes, either gas or water. So be aware, that's what Neptune can mean, especially coming together with Rahu in your 4th house. And your mother, make sure you check on her. There could be some things you're not seeing or knowing if she's still around. And Jupiter being in your 6th house from the moon. It's a good time to get on a health kick, to get healthier, get stronger. And if you're thinking about adopting a pet, Jupiter in the 6th house from the moon works really, really well. And Mars is still in the 7th, is now in the 7th house from the moon. So there's contention in relationships. Be aware that relationships may not be on the up and up during this day while it's 7th from the moon. But K2 is in the 10th house from the moon. And this actually represents change in the workplace. So you could find that maybe your job is changing, your boss is changing, your company's changing, or that you are unsatisfied with the work that you're doing. You need to feel more of a sense of purpose. Make that happen. Adjust things in the workplace to make yourself happier. Now I'm looking at Monday, January 27th. And this day we have the moon in Sagittarius still. It's close to the center of the sign, and it is opposed Mars this later on in the day. This arises more contention, especially in relationships, not getting along, feeling anger, okay? Now, the moon is in the nakshatra called Purva Ashada. And Purva Ashada is the nakshatra that deals with, well, they say it's, the moon goes into Purva Ashada every month, right? So it's not going to predict this every month. But it does deal with declarations of war. So therefore, there's something coming out that, especially with Mars opposed to the moon, this could just mean more of a fighting attitude and warlike attitude. Furthermore, Sagittarius and this nakshatra are known to deal with truth seeking. So the truth is coming out about a lot of things, and it will be shocking with Mars opposing this. Yes, and Mars, by the way, is in the nakshatra called Purnavasu, which means return of the light. So much that's about to be revealed. It's crazy. We're going to see a lot of crazy energy. And the Venus-Saturn in the third house. Hey, if you have any brothers or sisters, you might find that there's something you need to finish up or complete some business with them. Communicate well, because Venus is there, but it's at the very last degree of the sign in Aquarius, meaning unfinished business that you can bring to fruition at this time. Also, once again, be very cautious around the home. If you feel like you smell gas, get it checked out, or there could be a leak. Be aware of that. And with Jupiter in the 6th, still it's a time to get healthy, look after your diet. You're still feeling unhappy, unfulfilled with work with K2 in the 10th house from the moon. So now I'm looking at January 28th, and this is a Tuesday, and the moon is together with Mercury in Capricorn. And what a lot of you don't know about the moon being in next to Mercury is they both deal with communications and the thinking mind. Actually, the moon is the mind and Mercury is the thought processes. So when you put them together, it means people never stop thinking. So if you have that in your chart, your mind is always on overdrive. It's hard to go to sleep at night because you don't know how to stop the mind from over processing on overdrive. And so what I say is when they come together in the sky, it has so much to do with people that overthink things. Make a decision and go with it. Quit going back and forth during this day, overthinking, and never coming to a conclusion. You got to finally come to a conclusion. It's in Capricorn, so this overthinking business will probably have something to do with business and work. So get it together. And the moon and Mercury are almost exactly on Pluto. Yes, today is the day that they are pretty much conjunct Pluto. So this overthinking is not little. It is intense. And you feel like your life hangs on the decision you're making. It doesn't. Make a decision and move forward. The moon tomorrow will be past this. So you'll be past it. It's just this day that you're over exaggerating the importance of something. And the moon is in the nakshatra called Uttara Ashada. Uttara Ashada is intense as well. It deals with fact and truth finding. So here's the thing. Base your decision on the truth. Make sure you have it right. and then go with it. Saturn's in the second house by itself from the moon, so people are starting to be more conscientious today about their spending and the economy. Venus has just transited into Pisces today. So much better than being in Aquarius, because in Aquarius, Venus was with Saturn. Love and affection just wasn't coming out of it. But now that Venus is in Pisces and it's nearing Neptune and Rahu, be aware that love in your heart will open big time. Just be careful that you have clearly thought this out, because Neptune can make you delusional about your opinions in love. And Rahu exaggerates it. But I'll tell you, it is a great time for creative artistic work. When it comes to love, you've got to really try to be more realistic. Neptune's not realistic. And Venus on it, it could get you in trouble in love. All right? So this is really the next few days. The 31st is the exact day. But be aware. But it is a fabulous day for creative endeavors, artistic, painting, drawing, anything to do with the arts. Even if you're not an artist, you will enjoy things of the arts. Go to the movies, go to the galleries, go to museums. This is a day of appreciation of the beauty in the world. And even on this day, we have Jupiter in the 5th house. So it is a day of creative artistic work, as well as Mars being in the 6th house. Be cautious. This can be a time that you could be impulsive, impatient, that could make for accidents. And K2 in the 9th house from the moon, yes, this would deal with a inner search for spirituality and truth. And this is a big quest during this time. Now I'm looking at January 29th. Yes, and this day the moon is still in Capricorn. And it is the day of the new moon. As a matter of fact, on the 29th, we have the new moon at 15 degrees of Capricorn. So that means the sun and the moon are exactly conjunct. And this new moon is in the nakshatra Shravana, which, as I've talked about early on in the month when the moon was there, it deals with listening. It deals with the ear, hearing people out. It's a new beginning for this, new beginning to change your perspective possibly by being a listener instead of worrying about what you're going to say next while people are talking to you. Open your ears and hear what they have to say. Chances are you're going to learn something. And this can change your perspective. Saturn in the 2nd house, I think the economy, things are shifting. It's not on the uptick, upswing that I see that it will be going through in March and April. People are being a little bit more conservative. That is okay. But this is a time for creative endeavors, because Venus and Neptune are together in the 3rd house from the moon. And that also goes for writing. Yesterday and today, there's this creative edge to be a writer, an artist, appreciation of the arts. Use this day for what it's good for. And Jupiter being in Taurus is even better, because what I just realized, now that we have Venus in Pisces and Jupiter in Taurus, they exchange signs. They're in a parivartana. Venus is in Pisces, ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter's in Taurus, ruled by Venus. This connects these two planets. And actually, this will help the economy soar. I just get these 2 days. It's just a little bit touchy. And that's the 28th, 29th. But after that, I see the economy, things are starting to really perk up. People are more creative. People are happier. I love this Venus in Pisces. Venus is going to be in Pisces for a very long time, because Venus is going to be going retrograde somewhere around March and April. And therefore it stays in Pisces, I believe, all the way into May. So we've got this Venus exaltation and Jupiter in Venus's sign. This will cause the economy to go high. So if there's any chance that things go low at this time, and I don't think it's going to go that low, but it might be a time to invest, because I see it revving up a lot in the months of March and April. Now, another thing you must know about this time is that Jupiter, as I said, being in the 5th house from the moon, once again, this is a great time for creative endeavors, writing, art appreciation, music, anything to do with the arts. Remember, the arts are vast, and we should all give more regard to our creative side, because it's fun. Art is beautiful, it makes us feel good, and it's fun. To be more self-expressive always causes us to feel good about ourselves. But I'll say Mars being in the 6th house, be aware that you got to take care of your health. And you can't be going 100 miles an hour impulsive, because it could cause accidents. And looking at where K2 is, 9th house from the moon, this tells me that there is an interest in spirituality. People are becoming more spiritually focused, and Venus is going to start connecting with Rahu and K2. So this will bring out the need for spirituality. Now I'm looking at January 30th. This is a Thursday. And the moon will have moved into Aquarius on this day. And it's in the nakshatra called Dhanishta. And like Dhanishta it deals with the rhythm. It can also deal with music and rhythm. People there'll be more musical talent coming out, more songs, more creative things will be penetrating the world because of this Venus-Jupiter. Now that Venus is in Pisces for so long and Jupiter's in Taurus, they exchange signs. This is like bringing out the beauty, the arts, and prosperity and wealth. We're on a roll now. Even though there's crazy things going on, there's still a lot of good to look forward to. And looking at where Venus is, it's almost exactly with Neptune. Now, Venus, Neptune, Rahu are in the 2nd house. So it is a time to make money, but be a little cautious, because Neptune and Rahu can make you a little bit over the top and not conservative enough. So take caution. Don't go to the extreme. Things are going to work out financially, but just, it could be the time that you're compelled to buy something really expensive. That's what this is. Or even buying some things that are beautiful for your home. Decorating, because Jupiter is in the 4th house from the moon. That's another thing. With Jupiter being in the 4th house from the moon, it could be a good time to start looking at real estate. I think real estate prices, things are going to start to change, and with good reason. It's time. But it's a great time to buy things for the home and decorate. Venus rules the 4th, and it's in the 2nd house of money, buying power. Dhanishta means, go with the flow. Go with the fact that you feel it's time to move. Go with the flow. It's about timing. You being at the right place at the right time. Listen to your intuition. Go where it tells you to go. And with this moon, Mars is in the 5th house from the moon. Now it's still retrograde, of course, but it means that people are really looking into finding new creative ideas, inventions. Mainly this is the sign of an entrepreneur. So people that are inventing new business ideas. That's what this Mars in the 5th house is good for. And maybe going back to some of the old ideas that you didn't get the opportunity to process and make happen. Now it's time. So the Sun and Mercury are in the 12th, so there's a little bit of downtime. You need to just relax and get some rest. So now I am looking at the last day of January. January 31st, it is a Friday. So Fridays are ruled by Venus, by the way. And this day is quite unique because on this day, Venus, Neptune, and Rahu will all be the same degree, which is 3 degrees of Pisces. And by the way, if you have any planets at 3 degrees of Pisces or 3 degrees of Virgo, you will feel this big time. What does that mean? What are you going to feel? You'll feel the creative bug hit you because this is like ultra mega creative. And the love bug hit you too. But be careful. Like I'm saying, Neptune is deceptive, means you don't see things the way they really are. It can be delusions, illusions. And it's like you meet somebody and you think they're the most fabulous, incredible person you've ever met. I'm telling you, months later, you'll look at that person and you'll go, what in the world was I thinking? Because I'll tell you what Neptune does. I call it cast a spell on you. You can't see things for what they really are. So please take caution. You know, stand back if you're falling in love at this time and ask yourself, am I being realistic? And think about all the things that are realistic. If this person doesn't fit your normal criteria, please be aware, okay? And actually, this will probably be in effect the whole entire time that Venus is in Pisces, because it's going to be with Neptune and Rahu. But right now, it's at the ultimate peak, being exactly the same degree as Neptune and Rahu. Rahu magnifies the power of Neptune. That's why I'm saying, please, please, please be careful. And K2 accentuates it. Of course, K2's opposing Venus because Venus is conjunct Rahu. And that would mean be realistic about relationships, yes. And but artistically, it's a time you can really take off in that area. And with Venus, Neptune, Rahu, in the 2nd house from the moon, be careful about overspending on luxury items. And what I think you're going to buy is things for the home that are beautiful. Maybe painting, art, carpet, whatever. Things that adorn your home. Now, Saturn is going to be with the moon today. And as I said, the moon is in Aquarius. And this is kind of a serious tone that it takes on when the moon is with Saturn. And the moon is in the nakshatra called Shatabhishak. That nakshatra is one of the more intense ones because it's ruled by Rahu. But it deals with the sky watcher, so people are more interested in things of space, astrology, astronomy. All these things matter and become more in the news too. Maybe even some things about aliens or call them extraterrestrials come into alignment. Things in the sky, that could even be the drones we're seeing more of. That could be that. But another thing about this nakshatra, it does mean the 100 healers. And that can mean people getting into healing more so. Spiritual healing, vibrational healing. That's different than the traditional healing that's been around forever. The Sun and Mercury, Pluto are in the 12th house, which means, yeah, it's a time to reflect, kick back, pay attention to your dreams as well. And when I look at where K2 is, K2 goes to the 8th house from the moon. And yes, you will be more intuitive, more insightful. Pay attention to your dreams and your insights. Things are really aligning. Just be careful in marriage, love, and relationships during this time. This is a very interesting time. This is a very interesting day because of this alignment with the Venus, Neptune, Rahu. It is a day of extremes when it comes to your imagination and your creativity. Use it wisely. It's a good day for this. And not only that, with Mars being in the 5th house, it could be a good day for imagination and creating business, new ideas for business, entrepreneurship. And I do love Jupiter in Taurus in the 4th house. As I said, you'll be doing things to improve your home, decorate, make it more beautiful, and even look for a new home if that's on your list of things to do. Start the energy going. Start looking online at all the beautiful new homes. And just by the fact that you're starting to look online, gets the energy rolling, and it starts to bring manifestation. So if you're wanting to move, even if you don't think it's feasible at this time, start to look and see what's out there. That gets the energy rolling, and then the universe provides the rest. So with that, I have covered the whole month of January of 2025. Remember, if you want to learn Vedic astrology, go to my university website. Become my student. We have semester 1 starting in February, just about a week from this date. So if you really want to learn this, and let me just say, this is the divine science. This can help anyone out tremendously to have the tool of astrology. Whether you do readings for people or just for yourself, it is the most powerful tool you can have in your toolbox. So learn astrology. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com, and remember, the Galactic Planner will put all of this to you in your phone where you can follow the guidance of the stars. But in this case, with the Galactic Planner, it's more personal. It applies it to your personal chart. I have been a major part of writing all of these translations. Another thing is become part of Patreon. If you want to join our spiritual community, you will want to be on Patreon. There's so many beautiful things you get with being a member of Patreon. Check it out. You get my magazine, you get live classes, you get my muhurtas, where I write out what days are best for everything. You even get in a drawing for a free reading by me. Go check it out. So where do you go? galacticcenter.org, and don't forget to sign up for my free newsletter there. So I will see you in the month of February. Thank you for listening.